Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Boks. And today we're going to be talking about Sacha Feinberg in Zulu, and an absolute masterclass dropped this past weekend. And I tell you what, a performance like that would scare quite a lot of international coaches out there who are trying to work out how to beat the Boks. Because if you put somebody like him in front of the most dominant pack in the world, with players like Cheslin Colby, Damian Willemse, Damon Delendi, Kurt Lawrence, the likes of him in the back line, it's a formula that is going to be incredibly difficult for any side around the world to beat. We are talking about potentially the next big thing when it comes to number 10s, and I think that the battle between the likes of a Sashwan Zulu, a Sam Prendergast coming up, for example, a Marcus Smith, a Romain Intermac. I think, the battle of some of the best 10s in the world that are starting to really come up through the ranks is going to be a really interesting one. And I'm really excited to see where Sacha ranks, because at the moment he just looks like he's playing beyond the years. He's 23 years old, and this weekend he scored a hat-trick in the first half, and it just looked like he was going through the motions. He is a special, special player, and he's finally come back and shown the form just as we start heading into the business end of the sort of season and towards the beginning of international season. He will start against the likes of the All Blacks and Ireland and France at the end of the year if he's playing like he did on Saturday. And if he does play like that, then the Springboks are going to take on a whole different, look, because the Boks have got the best set piece in the world. They've got the best scrum. They've probably got the best maul, arguably, and they've got the best pack. I don't think too many people really sort of really dispute that. Obviously you've got really good packs like the French pack, like the Irish pack, and the likes. The New Zealand pack is definitely getting a lot better, but I still think the Boks still have the dominant pack in the world. And now we're seeing somebody playing at 10 who's got the ability to really use that pack as a launch pad to get other players involved and create try scoring opportunities and score lots and lots of points. It's not a fly half we've had a lot in the last sort of 10 years. Somebody who can do it all. We've had Monty Liebach who can do the attacking flair, but obviously comes with his shortcomings in terms of his goal struggles. Now, ironically, Sacha didn't kick particularly well for goals over the weekend, missed a couple, and I think his percentage was down to 57. We'll look at it now. But, we're not seeing a genesis of a 100-part of Monty Liebach, all kind of emerge into one. Somebody who can do it all. Very good defensively, and at 23 years old, he's going to be doing this for the next decade. So this is, I think, the coolest thing from a Springbok point of view and the scariest thing of an opposition fan is the fact he's 23 years old. He's only going to get better. And a game like Saturday, when we look at his numbers, it was remarkable, really. And this is what it looked like. So he played the full 80 minutes, which in itself was good to see him really getting back to full fitness. 57% kick success rate, so it wasn't phenomenal off the tee. He's a lot better than that. We've seen him be a lot better than that, especially in internationals. So, yeah, a bit of a worry in terms of why he was slightly off tone, but we've seen him do it before. But the main thing, 24 points, an 83% tackle success rate. This, I think, is the big advantage of him playing at 12, which a lot of people didn't like, for good reason, I suppose. He also got injured there, being a ball carrier and being first receiver and sort of running into some pretty big lads. He ran into Asenati and Tlabakanye, and that's where he injured himself. But he's a really good defender, and I think that he's learned at inside center exactly how to defend and the physicality of the professional game. But the main thing is 83 meters gained, 5 defenders beaten, and then you look at this over here: 2 clean breaks, an offload, a try assist, 3 tries, a penalty, and 3 conversions. I mean, he was faultless, really, for a large part of the game. I mean, it was a bit of a weird knock-on. That's about the only thing I could think that he didn't do particularly well. Even if you then look at his defense, 10 tackles, 2 missed, no bad passes, discipline was good, no silly yellow cards, 1 turnover conceded, 1, and 1 turnover, 1. So, I mean, as I said, to look at that kind of game at 23 years old is pretty special. He's 6 feet, he's 90 kgs, he's not small, for example, and he's just the real deal. Now, the big question is, who sort of backs him up, really? 100 Pollard, Martin Liebach, Jordan Hendrickson, I think, is struggling a little bit at the moment. Siya Masuku's kind of fallen out the frame. So that's why I think he's coming good at the right time. He's got Andre Pollard who will mentor him a lot, and Martin Liebach who he works with and knows very well in Storm So I think in those 3 fly halves, we're very comfortable with kind of the stocks we've got. You then add in a Jordan Hendrickson, for example, and that's another additional option. But I do think that at the moment, it'll very much be Project Sacha. And why shouldn't it? Rassie Erasmus really rates him. I think Tony Brown loves working with him. And I do think that a lot of the Bok game plan is going to be started to mold around having him in the number 10 role. which is a good and a bad thing. You know, it's a good thing because obviously we're going to be able to get the best out of him. And you look at the Dan Carter years and how he just transformed that All Black side when he played well. The issue, I suppose, comes where if he's injured, for example, not available, do we have other players who can kind of fill the role that he has? And I don't think we really do have in terms of a complete skill set that he has. Andre Pollard brings in a lot of physicality and ice cold goal kicking, but doesn't maybe have the creative flair that a Sacha has, the chip and chase, for example, the cross kicks and the likes of that. Boks does have all that, but doesn't necessarily have the defensive prowess or the goal kicking, for example. So you can see why it's kind of investing all the stocks into Sacha. And a game like Saturday makes you really realize how special he is. What we need to do is wrap him up in cotton wool and keep him playing for as long as possible and as many games as possible. There's no doubt that he's got the physicality to play international rugby. He did last year. But we need to be very careful how we manage him and make sure that we don't overplay him, for example, and that we manage him well so that he can gain the experience he needs. Because come 2027, I'd like to see him running out for the Boks in that first World Cup game. And I think so would Rassie and his coaching staff. So, yeah, what do you think? What is a special? Are we talking about a future Springbok Player of the Year? Are we talking about future World Player of the Year? I think both could be on the cards with the way it's coming through. Potential Springbok captain as well. Very measured, very good leadership abilities. Loves to sort of really take control of the game. Another aspect on Saturday, which I think was really good, was Salman Murat spoke about the fact that he said it was easy. You know, he said that when you got something like Sacha and some of the backline players they had taking charge and creating those chances, he said it makes life a lot easier, you know, as a captain and as a forward pack. So that's also a very underrated part that Sacha brings. He's got that maturity to really take hold of the game and to dictate it. So what is his threshold? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.